I'm creating this video about my third great-grandfather, Joseph Lewis. Joseph was a Union veteran of the Civil War, and he served in Company K of the 12th Kentucky Infantry of Volunteers. Joseph was born in either Alabama or Kentucky and spent his entire adult life in or near Monticello in Wayne County, Kentucky. The earliest record I have found of Joseph Lewis living in Wayne County, Kentucky, is his marriage bond. He married Mary Abner on April 28, 1854. After that, he begins appearing in the Wayne County, Kentucky tax records in 1856, all the way until 1874, the year before he dies. The only census record I have ever found him in is the 1860 U.S. Federal Census record for Monticello, Wayne County, Kentucky. He is shown with his wife and 3 of his children, Thomas, Lucinda, and Emily. By January 1869, the courts had declared Joseph Lewis a pauper. By October of that same year, a Rutha Roberts was shown by the courts as supporting Joseph Lewis. In this book of family stories, Rutha was said to have had an illegitimate son named Joe, who was known to have fits or epileptic seizures. My third great-grandfather, Joseph Lewis, was said to have suffered from and died from epileptic seizures. When Joseph's widow, Mary, filed for pension, she stated that they had 4 minor children at the time of Joseph's death: William N., John Riley, my second great-grandfather, Talitha F., and Emberson. 6 years later, at the time of Mary's death, there were 2 remaining minor children that were listed in the pension files, and that was Talitha F. and Emberson. So who were these last 3 young children listed in the 1880 census with Mary a year before she died? Were they biological children from Joseph and Mary because she never remarried after he died? Or were they children that Mary took in after Joseph died? And if they were Joseph and Mary's children, why were they not mentioned in his pension records? It's stated over and over again that only those 4 children mentioned in the records were their minor children. Witnesses testified to this. Joe is mentioned as the father of Eliza on her death certificate, and Joe and Mary are both listed as the parents of Eliza in 2 separate Social Security applications. Joe and Mary are also listed as Eliza's parents on her marriage bond, and they're both listed as the parents of Earl on his death certificate. Additionally, Eliza and Earl are both mentioned as siblings in Talitha's obituary, one of the minor children who got the guardian. Eliza is mentioned as a sibling to Earl in his obituary. Eliza is also mentioned in Emberson's obituary, the other minor child who got a guardian when Mary and Joseph died. Eliza is also mentioned as a sibling in Lucinda's obituary, and both Eliza and Earl are mentioned as siblings in John Riley's obituary, who is one of the 4 minor children that were named in Joe's pension files. And as you can see in this picture from my family tree on Ancestry, I have DNA matches through 3 of the 4 children that were mentioned in Joseph Lewis's pension file. Now, I do not know for a fact if Rutha Roberts is Joseph's mother for sure, but I do know that whoever Joseph's parents are, or at least one of his parents, they stem through a Benjamin Lewis, my 5th great-grandfather, because I have tons and tons of DNA matches through all of the kids from Benjamin Lewis, at least all the ones that anyone seems to know about. So if anybody out there in the world has any of these Lewises in your tree, and there's any piece of information you could give me to help me with my brick wall of who Joseph's parents definitely are, or maybe about those 3 children that are a mystery, which really honestly I'm not too concerned about, because none of those 3 children are my second great-grandparent. My second great-grandparent is one of the 4 children that was mentioned in Joe's pension records, so we're good there. But I really would love to know for certain who his parents are. Many people say William Lewis and Ursula Bell. William Lewis is also a child of Benjamin Lewis. Or perhaps Benjamin Lewis has another son out there who I'm not aware of yet. I haven't been able to trace any matches back through yet, because some are hard to figure out if their trees are private and stuff and they don't reach out to me. But maybe he's got another missing son out there who's the father of Joseph. But it really looks through DNA that Benjamin Lewis is most likely, most definitely my 5th great-grandfather. I could be wrong, but if anybody knows anything or would like to collaborate with me on any of these Lewises, if you need help with anything in your tree, let me know. And another thing is Rutha Lewis Roberts, who is rumored to have had an illegitimate son named Joe, who may or may not be the mother of my Joseph. She is in many people's trees placed as being the daughter of William Lewis and Ursula Bell, which would still make her related to Joseph. But I do not believe that to be accurate based on census records and tax records for William Lewis and the age that Ursula was. She would have had to be like 8 or 9 when she had Rutha, or fairly young. So, and based on a census record I have of Benjamin, it may possibly insinuate Rutha being his daughter. And since he has a Benjamin Jr. that's his son and he's around the same age as Rutha, it just makes more sense to me that those 2 kids both came from Ben. And also it looks as if Ben might have been married twice, because his first batch of kids are much older than Ben and Ruth. So I'm thinking he might have had a wife that died before he appeared in Wayne County, or even maybe shortly after he had gotten Wayne County, before censuses showed names, only the head of household. But definitely from 1850 on, it shows that he was with this Jane, whoever this Jane is. So I think she was probably the mother of Benjamin and Rutha. Rutha doesn't have any evidence of who her parents are, good strong evidence that I can find anyway. If anybody knows who Lewis Roberts' parents are, I would be thrilled if you would share it with me. But yeah, Benjamin Jr., there's definitely tax records and things like that that seem to strongly suggest he has Ben's son, and he also, Ben Sr., appears in the household of Ben Jr. in 1850, I want to say. So that strongly insinuates it's his son too. In one census, 1850 or 60, Ben shows up, Ben Sr. shows up with Ben Jr.'s family, and another, Ben Sr. is showed living with William Lewis's family. So William and Ben are definitely the sons of Benjamin Jr., and they definitely are somehow related to my Joseph, whether they be uncles or fathers or whatever. So if anybody can help me, please reach out. And I'll keep going until my dying day until I figure this out. Thank you.